Welcome everyone. I wanted to make a video on this EVGA E1 build. We've had this one for quite a while now because the customer was very particular about what he wanted and he was in no hurry, and the design went through many changes. So you can see it has our PowerBoard and Distribution Plate. The first time I saw the E1, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I just thought straight away that it is calling out for a PowerBoard and Distribution Plate combo. Because it's completely open, cable management and loop route was a bit messy, and the PowerBoard just completely fixes the cable management because it integrates everything and it replaces the entire motherboard tray. So you take out the stock motherboard tray and replace it with the PowerBoard. And then the Distribution Plate completely cleans up the loop route, because now you've just got short, clean runs to the radiators and components. The tube runs on the components are not short and clean because this is specifically how the customer wanted it. And actually, I've rebuilt this system more than 15 times now, and the loop has changed 8 or 9 times, just changing the route, changing fittings, repositioning bends. The tube and fittings are also Cerakoted, so it had to be assembled to figure out the fittings and the bends, and then it had to be dismantled to be Cerakoted and then assembled again. And this process was repeated multiple times because things were changed along the way. And then the PowerBoard is what took the most time, because this is actually a completely custom PowerBoard. So the customer wanted gold text, so everything is gold on the PowerBoard, and he changed like every little thing. Like even the labels on the connectors have been changed, on the LEDs have been changed from LED to lamp, little things like that. Custom logo added. So I think they went through like over 30 design changes, just moving things around, changing labels. So yeah, that took a long time for us to complete. I was actually quite surprised when I showed the customer the system this time and he said it was completed. So yeah, we're finally shipping this one out now, but I think I'm going to miss it. It's definitely been a very enjoyable process and a privilege to be building into the EVGA E1, because so few of these have been made and they're not made anymore. And it's just the coolest case, like really simple, but the coolest idea ever. And I really like open cases like this. So this is the 4090 matrix, and we've modified it to be connected to a custom loop, and our mod is actually fully reversible, so you can completely reverse this back to the original condition and reconnect the AIO, because this is an AIO GPU. It's an interesting GPU, interesting block. I really like the look of this one. I think Asus should have kind of stuck with this and developed this look more. I really like how you can see the tubes on the inside. And you know, it's got like a smoked window, so that matches the custom smoked distribution plate that we've done, because this one was clear by default, so it has a smoked rear layer and clear front layer, and that's why the light is not passing through it. Like usually the distribution plate glows really bright, but with smoked it completely dulls all of the LEDs. Also, the fasteners are custom on the distribution plate. They're titanium and black. But what I was going to say about the 4090 matrix is the water block has some of the best, like the stock water block has some of the best performance that I've seen, but it's extremely restrictive. Like the fin array is incredibly dense, and this is the issue with really dense fin arrays, and they seem to be just getting denser and denser over time. I think there is a sweet spot between flow and, you know, surface area with the fin array and how dense it is, because it restricts the rest of the loop. So it becomes a problem when you have the CPU in the same loop. So the CPU actually runs a bit hotter because the loop is so restricted. And you know, then the coolant is flowing more slowly through the radiators and everything else. So yeah, you can see the coolant is moving very slowly, and that is due to the GPU. But I do actually have an RPM curve running on the pump at the moment, so I'm going to disable that. But yeah, I only actually just got this build up and running again after rebuilding it many times. And we're actually going to be shipping this system only partially assembled because the customer is replacing the motherboard with the Godlike X, so we're not even shipping it with this board. But yeah, what else do we have here? So the Cerakote is armor black. So I did that. We do Cerakoting now. SingularityComputers fittings, also with armor black Cerakote, and then Cerakote on the tubes. These are acrylic tubes. It's 14mm tube. And yeah, usually I wouldn't route the tube like this. It would be much shorter and cleaner, but this is specifically exactly how the customer wanted it. And then the radiators are Bixby and they have custom paint. We've actually put custom feet on the frame so that you can drag it around without damaging it. And they're very low profile and hidden underneath. This case, like, because EVGA only made, well, I don't know how many they made, but not very many, and they definitely don't make them anymore. You can't get them. So the customer got the case secondhand from somebody else and it was a bit damaged. So he actually sent it to somebody to like re-clear coat parts of it, and they did an okay job, but you know, it's something that we could have done as well. But you know, there was some masking lines and a bit of overspray here and there, so we've actually polished the entire frame, which also took a lot of time. But yeah, looking around the back, you can see where the pump is, how the distribution plate works, the reservoir in an L shape, how the loop route works. I actually don't have the front radiator connected. It was really strange. So I've had this build up and running, you know, throughout the many iterations of the design. Many times it's been like flow test, it's had coolant in it. The radiators have been there since I painted them, so they haven't been removed and put back on again or anything, and they were fine for so long. And then suddenly the front radiator started leaking from where the channels connect to the top tank just this morning when I was trying to start shooting this video. And so that's why the fittings look a bit strange here. They're misaligned because I have just bypassed the front radiator just so that I could make the video. But yeah, from the back you can see a bit more of the power board, how it works. This was like a big development because a lot is connected to it. All of the components really, even the power supply on the back. But yeah, 3 direct 2.5-inch mounts there which are not being used. And yeah, just like a lot of little small details that were changed on the power board. So yeah, the power supply cables, they plug into the power board back here underneath this shroud. It even has a custom D5 cover PCB which needs a clean. Yeah, I only just put that back on. So just to go over the core components, 4090 matrix as I said, X870E Godlike MSI board, which as I said will be changed to the Godlike X, which is the new one. 9950X3D with the Optimus Signature 3 block, 64 gig of Corsair Dominator titanium memory. I actually had a lot of difficulty getting this board to detect the memory. I mean, DDR5 compatibility has been pretty much a nightmare across the board, but yeah, particularly with this board, there's seems to be issues with memory detection, but yeah, I found a way to get it to work. And then we have the Seasonic Prime Noctua 1600 watt power supply and Noctua fans.